Hi everybody, welcome back to Reader's Workshop. Before we get started, let's make sure we're ready to learn. So eyes watching, ears listening, quiet as a mouse, still like a pretzel. Okay, so the last time we met, we talked about fairy tales. We learned that fairy tales have magical characters, that they have royalty, or sometimes they have talking animals. We learned that the setting of a fairy tale is typically a castle or the woods. And we also learned that they're entertaining stories of how good triumphs over evil. So we have so far talked about fables, we've talked about fairy tales. Today we're going to talk about this type of folk tale, which is called a pourquoi tale. A funny word, pourquoi tale. And here's some examples over here. Pourquoi tales are a special kind of folk tale that try to explain the wonders of nature. So in other words, how the world came to be. So looking at this picture, how did these mountains get so tall? How did the trees get so green? Why is the lake showing a reflection? Okay, so these are just very entertaining tales of trying to figure all this stuff out, because this was before science could help us get those explanations. Pourquoi is the French word for why. So the title of Pourquoi Tales usually starts with why or how. Okay, so this one is called Why Mosquitoes Buzz in People's Ears, which is one we're going to read this week, and How Chipmunk Got His Stripes, which is another one we're going to read. Here are some other examples: how the leopard got his claws, how Raven got his crooked nose, or why the sun and the moon live in the sky. That's another one that we're going to read. But so you can see all of these start with either the word how or why. The characters of Pourquoi tales are usually animals or other things found in nature that have to do with weather. So like the sun, the clouds, the snow, the rain. Usually the characters in a Pourquoi tale will undergo a change. So it started in one way, but it's going to end another. And this was a good example of one. This was all about the handsome hog. And basically, the handsome hog started this way, and he was just considered so beautiful. But then he did a lot of nasty, evil things, and so he was punished. And he ended up becoming the warthog with all these like yucky bumps on his face. So it's kind of teaching us, not to be mean, not to do nasty things. Otherwise, you could end up looking like a warthog. Pourquoi tales use a writing technique called personification, which gives animals or natural things like weather human-like qualities. So here you see a bunch of dogs sitting around a table. They're drinking, they're sitting, they're playing cards. We know that animals don't do these types of things, but in Pourquoi tales they can, because these guys are getting human-like qualities. The setting of Pourquoi tales, just like with fables, is usually outdoors in the woods or in the jungle or in the desert or the ocean, all these beautiful places. We know that the setting of folktales changes depending where you are in the world. So in Pourquoi tales, it's the same thing. The setting is really where the Pourquoi tale is from. So if it's from the desert, it's going to be in the desert. If it's from the ocean, it's going to be in the ocean. And then the last thing I want you to know about Pourquoi tales is that they don't usually have a specific time. They just happened long ago. Long ago. So you can read a Pourquoi tale just like we do. How leopard got his claws, how the rooster got his crown. And usually when the animal goes through that change, we, as the reader, learn what we shouldn't do if we don't want to have the bad thing happen to us. So it's not really a total moral or essential message, but it's some guidance on how we should behave and how we should treat each other. Okay, you can read a Pourquoi Tale just like we do. And I will see you next time. Bye, friends.